Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today we are listening to the singer Nina Hagen. I have heard her once previously in a Patreon hangout, and there's a lot to talk about, so that's what we're going to do today. Here we go.
Offenes Fenster präsentiert Spatzenwolken, Himmel flattern, Wind bläst, meine Nase friert und paar Auspuffrohre knattern nach. Da geht die Sonne unter, rot mit Gold, so muss das sein. Seh ich auf die Straße runter, fällt mir mein Bekannter ein. Ist jetzt schwer ums Herz. Ich brauch nur Vögel, flattern sehen und fliegt mein Blick dann himmelwärts. Tut auch die Seele wie schön Natur am Abend. Stille Stadt, verknackste Seele, Tränen rennen, das alles macht einen mächtig matt. Und ich tu einfach weiter flinnen.
Okay, you know what? No, there's just too much. There's too much. I don't know how long that phrase was going to be. I love so much. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to put into words everything that is just so cool to me about this. Let's start with just, using operatic training for something other than staged operas. I think that is so cool. It reminds me a little bit of sort of the, 20th, 21st century, like contemporary operas in some way, just with the tonality. It also has a little bit of that, what you would call sort of Sprechstimme, in that it feels conversational at times, especially with some of the sliding where it doesn't feel like it's complete, like true singing. Okay, I have so many thoughts. We're just gonna start and stop. Here we go.
Offenes Fenster präsentiert Spatzenwolken, Himmel flattern.
What I find so interesting about her technique is she has sort of muffled that operatic sound. So normally when you're training, you have a lot of forward placement. You'll hear some coaches or teachers talk about singing in the mask. There are lots of tools that you can use to create more sound, which is necessary when you're on stage and you don't have microphones. But in this case, you can hear that sort of muffled quality. I think it's a combination of like her soft palate positioning and where she's keeping the root of her tongue, which is brilliant because she's getting the sound, or I guess the tone that we expect from that classical sound, but she's doing it in a way that she can utilize a microphone so that she's not blaring and peaking and all of that stuff. Simultaneously, we still get such incredible diction. Like the consonants alone are sort of, they're having their moment. Like they're their own like song because they're so crisp and so deliberate. And it's just, I love it.
Offenes Fenster präsentiert Spatzenwolken, Himmel flattern, Wind meine Nase friert und mein Auspufferrohr knatternach. Da geht die Sonne unter.
And then for her to switch so quickly into something that is so chest dominant, and you can even hear like the shaping of that sound, not just like which muscles are working, but also the spread she's enabling compared to those really tall vowels we heard before, spatially, just lifting the soft palate versus keeping it lowered or in a more neutral position. I mean, there's so many things she changes and so quickly in order to achieve these sounds, but it just, I don't know, it feels natural and it gives such a cool effect.
Rot mit Gold, so muss das sein. Seh ich auf die Straße runter, fällt mir mein Bekannter ein. Prompt wird mir's jetzt schwer
Like, come on with those consonants.
Ich auf die Straße runter, fällt mir mein Bekannter ein. Prompt wird mir's jetzt schwer ums Herz. Ich brauch nur Flügel, flattern.
Now, just then you could hear a shift in placement where it felt much more, it was brighter, and then we got that darker, warmer color. I can't remember what the text was.
Fällt mir mein Bekannter ein. Prompt wird mir's jetzt schwer ums Herz. Ich brauch nur Flügel, flattern sehen und fliegt.
I mean, when you have words, and forgive me, I do not speak German, but when you have words like Herz or Ich, like, we're getting so much more forward placement naturally because of the tongue position and where those vowels sit in the mouth. So that helps to facilitate this contrasting sound, but she's also magnifying that with her choices and how she's creating space, or additional space, I'll say. Oh, and then to use a sniff, like proactively, to utilize that sound and make it a part of a song or a phrase, I think is brilliant.
Mir's jetzt schwer ums Herz. Ich brauch nur Flügel, flattern sehen und fliegt mein Blick dann himmelwärts. Tut auch die Seele wie schön Natur am Abend. Stille Stadt, verknackste Seele, Tränen rennen, das alles macht einen mächtig matt. Und ich tu einfach weiter flennen.
I love how serious she is. Like, she's doing this, how to say this? It's like she's not trying to make a joke out of all of these expressions and sounds. Like, she is communicating her intention with like authenticity and earnestness. And it's just so cool to see, because then it allows you as an audience member to feel whatever you want to feel. Like, you don't have to. Obviously, I find it entertaining because of the shift and how quickly it happens. And so it's like surprising to me. But some people won't respond in the same way, and that's okay, because she's allowing that to be okay. When you do something seriously and with like the purest of intentions, you know, as much honesty as you can muster in your art, I do think it frees people to react in whatever way they want, as opposed to you as an artist dictating, hey, this is supposed to be funny, laugh with me, because then the audience feels sort of like they have to laugh. But in this case, like, an audience member or a listener, a viewer, they can just take it all in and feel whatever they want. And I love that, because she is doing everything so deliberately.
Verknackste Seele, Tränen rennen, das alles macht einen mächtig matt. Und ich tu einfach weiter flennen.
The way she, oh my gosh, I need to hear that again. Hold on. I think I might change my mind after I hear this again. I think what's so shocking to me about this is when you are singing high enough in that really classical technique, it can be hard to go from that to a completely different onset that feels like more like screaming or even more like whistle tone. I mean, to interrupt the vibration that's happening and create a completely different onset is just, that's so impressive. Like there especially, all of that spread, I mean, that is highly discouraged in a lot of circles when you're singing that high. And so she had that nice tall shape. And yes, to an extent, there's a little bit of like a spread when you're kind of like at, I don't know, high C and above. I think we'll see that spread often in classical singing, but this is just, it's so impressive seeing her go back and forth from one to the next. Do you know what I love most about that? Oh, this is such a good example of how you can make and form sounds without relying on facial muscles. So a lot of sounds, especially vowels, can be controlled solely with the tongue. If I were to say like ah, e, o, u, like I can absolutely move my mouth a ton to achieve those vowels. But you can also start to like neutralize ah, e, o, u. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of shifting, but the tongue is doing a lot of the work. And here, I think I already rewound it. We can see how let me say this correctly. The sound stays the same despite the fact that the shape of her mouth changes. Aside from there, everything before that, the tone, like the quality of the tone, the timbre, it was consistent even though we were getting a lot of different positions, and that's because so much of the sound was already like created without needing the lips, the jaw, etc. One more time. That was a very unexpected ending. Oh, the way she vocalized with the guitar at the end, that was so cool. Let me back it up a little more. I love how unique that was. We don't get to hear sounds like that very often, and especially not in earnest. And I mean, she went through so many different sounds, so many different placements, so many different textures. I mean, goodness. It was like chaotic vocal acrobatics. And yet, still quite polished. Maybe, I don't know if polished is the right word. Well conceived, organized. I don't know. Because the way the band as a whole stayed together throughout was so great to see. And here, like, for her to have just that grounded, consistent instrumental backing, I mean, awesome. Like, that's awesome to have that kind of support while you're doing so many incredible sounds, and to have safety in that so that you do have the freedom to make choices and trust that the people there playing with you can stay with you regardless of whatever sounds you decide to make. So so this is just my second time hearing her. I think the first one, New York, New York. I think that was the first one I heard from her. So already just the only consistent is the fact that she just does so much in her songs. The two songs are completely different from one another, so I have a lot to explore and to hear from her. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for this recommendation and for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.